It brings great joy to me when I can see two people who disagree but still respect each other's point of view. It is a rare thing in today's world. Alright, greetings everyone, it's Romac here. I'm going to do something a little different today. As you might be able to tell from my flash hat. It's sort of an idea I've been toying around with for a while. Decided to actually do, I'm going to be telling you guys some Army stories. And back in my day when I was in the Army, I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a video camera, but I was an avid journal writer. I've actually got 5 books like this that I've been kind of looking over recently. I've got little things written in there like the one that started this video and tons of other stuff aside from that. Some of it's really stupid and some of it's profound, and a lot of it has to do with just day-to-day life. But today we're going to be talking about the legend of King Kong. Now, for the most part, when I'm doing these stories, I'm probably going to change the names of the person or persons involved, just because some may or may not be so flattering. But in this case, I really can't change the name of the main character, because the main character was Sergeant King. Now, Sergeant King had the nickname of King Kong, so I can't really change his name to anything else because it wouldn't make sense. But why was Sergeant King called King Kong? Well, he was well, he wasn't really tall, but he was a large black man. He was also very hairy. And Sergeant King had huge arms. He was very muscular, had huge pecs, and he had a huge pot belly. He was also, as I said, very hairy, so that's how he kind of got the nickname of King Kong. What is so interesting about King Kong? Well, when you're in the Army, you've got, so occasionally you get CQ duty, which is charge of quarters. And basically, if you're on CQ, you sit at a desk by a phone, and you have to answer the phone and then either take messages or find who they're calling for. Because now this was back in probably 92 when this story happened, so basically no one had cell phones, which isn't entirely true because we did have one staff sergeant who had a cell phone, but it was one of the old school brick phones, and it was pretty much unheard of in those days to have a cell phone. But one guy did, but for the most part, if they wanted phone calls, they had to call whoever was on the CQ duty desk, and then get in touch with people that lived in the barracks that way. So we had these old-fashioned phones that had these things called cords attached to them. So when they wanted to talk on the phone, they had to stand basically next to the phone because the cord wasn't that long. But King Kong had, well, he had several strange habits, one of which was he liked to walk around naked. He was very free with his body. So he liked to show off his huge pot belly, his hairy chest, and his naked penis. But there was one occasion when I was on CQ duty, and King Kong got a phone call. So I had to call down the hall Sergeant King, because he was in the barracks. I had seen him. Sergeant King, you have a phone call. And then he said, just a minute. So he walked down the hallway, bare naked, and I was sitting at CQ desk next to the phone, and he proceeded to pick up the receiver of the phone and stand and talk on the phone with his penis right in my face. And that's one of the joys of being in the Army. You get to meet such interesting people who you would never meet, that just have very strange personal habits. But Sergeant King was a pinnacly interesting person. Fortunately, his toured, his term of service ended within a few months of my joining the Army, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time with him, but I heard many a story about King Kong. One of the most legendary stories was that King Kong liked to watch porno movies, and back in these days you had to have a VCR, and he had a TV with a VCR in his barracks room, and he would just, if there was 2, 3, 4 people in his room, he would just throw a video in and start watching porn. Then when he was good and ready, he would just declare, "I'm going to masturbate now, everyone please leave." So, strange guy. So that's the legend of King Kong. Hopefully this will be the first of many videos on Army stories, just because there's so many of them logged in my book, and I want to become a better storyteller. And I've got a lot of stories to tell, but I just have to find a way to make them interesting. But that's the story of King Kong. I'll dig through and see what other interesting characters I can tell you about in the future. And there are a lot of interesting characters that I can tell you about. Some good, some bad, some in between. And some things that I did as well, which may or may not be embarrassing, but we can get to those at a later date. That's all I got for today, so thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you later. Peace.